Welcome ladies and gentlemen to patch 44, The Jungle. Now you've probably all seen the trailer that Epic have posted, but now let's dive into the meat of the patch notes. I'm not going to talk too much about the HUD. My main focus is to look at all these hero reworks and the jungle. So let's get started. The Jungle. New power awaits those who enter. Oh, it's pretty nice. Okay, the jungle. The jungle gets an overhaul with new objectives and a new layout. A new buff focused on enabling aggression has been added to the offlane jungle, granting vision of enemies around the hero and causing basic attacks to slow enemy heroes. The raptors have been replaced by Fangtooth, a tough enemy who grants a series of permanent bonuses to the team who defeats him. Finally, all of the minion camps have been redesigned to give junglers better vision of their surroundings while farming. The jungle will receive more updates in the future, with this being part 1 of the update. Okay, sounds pretty good. Like I said, the jungle in this game is pretty boring at the moment, and we all know changes are coming, so I'm glad that this is just part 1 of the changes. We have no idea how many changes they're going to make, but it's nice that they're already bringing some of these changes into the game. So 5-4, a new set of Agora's earliest heroes have been reworked, making their skill sets better defined. So if you watched the trailer, you saw Feng Mao was one of those heroes. Feng Mao has been adjusted to make him more straightforward in his approach. We've improved the feel of his dash, giving him a slow on hit sticking tool, and introduced a powerful execute mechanic into his ultimate. Now that sounds fantastic. Feng Mao was already such a good hero, and I really like playing Feng Mao, so that execute on his ultimate sounds really nice. I'm presuming it's going to work like if ally is below 25 or whatever percent, then if enemy is below 20%, then they're dead if they get hit by the ultimate, I presume. Grux. Now we knew Grux was getting a rework. So Grux's rework focuses his role as... Thank you, Epic. Grux rework focuses his role as a slow-swinging, powerful jungle fighter. While he still pulls and bashes enemies, Grux has traded in his dash for a short-range uppercut knockup, and his Warlord's challenge now tremendously increases his damage. Sounds pretty good. Most of these changes we were aware of. Rampage. Now, they didn't actually announce the Rampage change, but I had a feeling this one was going to happen. Rampage has sacrificed a bit of mobility in favor of gaining a powerful sticking tool in Rumble, smashing the ground in front of him. He's now much tougher both naturally and in his regenerative capacity. And what this means, ladies and gentlemen, is that Rampage no longer has a pounce, or his escape jump, or initiate and jump. He no longer has the jump. Gideon. We also know about Gideon. Gideon is trading in his burden for another projectile meteor. Enemies will no longer be able to escape Black Hole, which now stuns all hit targets. Okay, that was something we knew about. And Twinblast. We've adjusted Twinblast to improve his shooting feel and streamlined his kit to be more responsive. Every pull of the trigger will fire twice, and dashing will give him more grenades, which now slow enemies. Okay, that's pretty good. I think that's all the heroes that they're reworking at the moment. Heads up, the HUD is brand new, the first step of several planned upgrades. Upcoming updates will feature more HUD improvements, increasing clarity and giving players more options to customize their experience. Read a full breakdown of the HUD changes now and in our future UI blog. We've already done that, and I've already gone over this image. If you want, you can check out the video where I covered this, but because we're not going to be looking at it today. Galactic Raider Grux. So terror among the stars with Galactic Raider Grux. Now this does look like a cool skin, but I'm not too concerned about skins. And this is a banner. I'm not too concerned about banners. So let's talk about the heroes. All right. So Aurora, you can actually cleanse her ultimate by cards and gems, which means Reflexive Purify will cleanse you of Aurora's ult and various cards. That's pretty interesting, actually. So Crunch, they just increased all his animation speeds. I feel like Crunch is a really good hero, so I think this is just even better for him and brings him in line to the pace of the game. Drongo's bug fixing. So Feng Mao, now he has a new ability called Crippling Strikes passive. After 4 successful hits or 20 seconds, Feng Mao's blade will glow. His next basic attack will deal damage in a wider arc and apply a 20, 23, 26 and 29% move speed slow for 2 seconds. Dealing damage with abilities will also trigger the slow. Okay, interesting. So this is replacing his hamstring. Okay, so it's kind of similar, but it's not similar. As in, it still applies a slow, but You can deal damage with abilities. So using his other abilities will also trigger the slow, which is interesting. Okay. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I did like hamstring. I feel like hamstring was really good for the slow, but that kind of makes sense then, because I just said hamstring is really good for the slow. They've gotten rid of this part that wasn't good about hamstring. They've kept the slow, and now he has a slow every 20 seconds or every 4 basic attacks, or every 4 successful hits rather. That's actually pretty good. Imperial Sentence, formerly Earth Shatter, which was his ultimate. Feng Mao slams his blade on the ground, dealing ability damage to all enemies in a line in front of him, equal to 150, 275, and 400 plus power rating. He will execute heroes below a health threshold of 300, 425, a 550 plus power rating. Executing heroes are marked with a special visual effect. Okay, so that's basically what I said. That the hero will just instantly die if they're below a certain amount of health. I actually think that's really nice. I like this ability a lot, because what would often happen with his ultimate is you would ult someone and you would hit them and they'd just get out just a little bit of health, and then you have to rely on your Q to be up or your or hamstring, and then like, oh fuck, you just got away with 100 health. It feels so bad. So I'm glad that this is an execute, and I feel like this kind of reminds me of when I played Smite as Thanatos, but that's for another day. Reaping Dash now automatically causes Feng Mao to basic attack his target when he lands, dealing an additional 45, 70, 95, 120. Adjusted teleport to hug ground whenever possible. Range increased from 800 to 900. Cooldown reduced from 10 seconds to 8 seconds at all level. Ability now auto confirms. Okay, so that's not a huge change. Apart from the big change here is that it says adjusted teleport to hug ground whenever possible. So am I still going to be able to dash up to the gold buff? Or is it just going to keep me at the ground level? Guardian Shield, formerly Conversion Shield. Mana cost increased from 40 to 50 at all levels. Cooldown reduced from 8 seconds to 7 seconds. And that's pretty much all it is with his abilities. General Balance, base mana decreased from 276 to 248. Base mana regen decreased from 1.32 to 1.23. And move speed from 740 to 700. So basically they want to reduce the amount of abilities you're using, or try to at least, make sure that you're using a full kit, assassinating someone, and then, okay, you've used your whole kit, so you could either escape or you can shield. And often what happens is Feng Mao's, they have such good survivability because they'll slow you, they'll dash, and then they'll shield. But I don't think they want you to use all three. Moving on to Gideon. Now, Gideon got a new ability which we all heard about in the community corner. So this one is called Void Breach, which replaces Burden. Gideon summons a comet projectile that pierces minions and deals 140, 240, 339, and 439 ability damage in an area. You can watch the video if you want to see that ability. Cosmic Rift, damage adjusted. I'm not going to talk about all the numbers, but it did get a significant nerf, but it now applies a slow and the radius has been increased. Torn Space, the cooldown has been increased across the board. And Black Hole now applies a stun effect to all affected targets. The stun only applies once and lasts for the duration of the ability. It can be broken as usual. Cooldown increased on the ability, damage also reduced, and updated sounds and visual effects. I actually really like this, and the fact that the stun applies and lasts for the duration of the ability is actually pretty sick. Sounds like Gideon is definitely going to be a monster. Speaking of monsters though, Grux, new ability Crush, which replaces his charge. Grux lunges forward a short distance, dealing ability damage and a short duration knock-up to enemies within a 250 units of his destination. We already knew about this ability, but I really like it. I think it's a lot better than charge, and if they're moving away from heroes being able to, like let's be real. As Grux, you would charge in, and then if shit hit the fan, you would just charge out. And I don't really like that. I like the fact that you're either committed to engagements, and I like what this new ability forces you as a Grux to do. Now, they rework Double Pain. Now an attack with 100% cleave that deals a percentage of Grux's base damage plus bonus damage to all affected enemies. Cooldown increased from 3 to 8. Okay, nice. I like that. I think that's a bit more interesting than his current Double Pain. Smash and grab, just did not too much nothing big there. Warlord's Challenge. Bonus basic damage. Change from a flat bonus to percent increase. Area stun has been removed. Okay, so that's pretty interesting because what you would often find was Grux would use his ult to counter someone else's ult, like a Narbash or a Gideon or some other ult that was going off. Or like say a Rampage was about to ult, you would use the Grux stun in his ult to cancel. So I like that the area stun has been removed because I don't know, I just didn't like the fact that Grux had a stun when they were going to give him a knock-up. And now that they've given him the knock-up, I think it's okay to remove the stun. Just some general balance from Grux as well. Kwang, some bug fixing. Okay, so Murdoch, they just increase. Plasma Bolt is a ranged basic attack dealing 58.3 basic damage. Buckshot increased knockback effect. Knockback now affects minions. Okay. Hot Pursuit abilities received updated visuals. Blah blah blah. Reduced delay upon firing. Okay, nothing really too big on Murdoch. Rampage. New ability Rumble replaces his Pounce. Like I said at the beginning, I thought this ability was going to get replaced because of where they wanted to take these kind of heroes. Rampage pounds the ground with both fists, dealing ability damage between 2 hits and applies a slow to all nearby enemies for 2 seconds. This is going to be great for Rampage to stick to people. He can rock people, follow up with a slow, and that makes Rampage a big threat, I think. I think this is great for Rampage. Rampage can now hold the boulder until it is cancelled or thrown, but Rampage moves more slowly while holding the boulder. So I presume that means the 5-second duration. Basically, if you haven't played Rampage, when you pick up the rock, you have like a 5-second window when you can move with the rock. But after that 5 seconds, if you don't throw the rock, you have to pick up the rock again. There's no real cooldown for it, but it's kind of a nuisance because you have to pick up the rock again, right? But now I think from what they're saying is you can just walk with the boulder like across the map if you wanted to. I don't know why you would, but if you wanted to, and there would be no penalty, but you will move slow, right? So there's a trade-off. When the problem was that Rampage would often be taken as a support and they would just hold the rock for ages and then throw it, and it was so deadly. But I think the rock doesn't do as much damage and the stun duration is a lot shorter in the early stages of the game, so it's okay. Mana cost has also been decreased, no longer cost mana when the ability is cancelled, so fairly standard stuff. King of the Jungle, passive health regen increased across the board and bonus damage duration increased from 5 to 8 seconds. That's pretty nice. Enraged, increased regeneration gained from King of the Jungle. Wow, that's a significant buff. It was at 6% currently, and now it's going to 11%. Mana cost decreased to 0 at level 3. Holy shit. Rumble's radius is increased and its cooldown reduced from 7 to 3 for the duration of Enraged. Wow, that's pretty good. It's a nice change to its ultimate, making him incredibly more tanky. And also some buffs all across the board. That's a really good patch for Rampage, I think. Richter, don't really care about. Twinblast, new ability, Hot Shot, passive. After hitting 12 basic attacks, the next 12 basic attacks will critically strike for 10, 15, 20, 25% bonus damage and lock to heroes. The fuck? Hot Shot's critical strike damage applies to structures. Okay, that's interesting. Last 10 seconds if not consumed, replaces rapid fire. Okay, that's interesting that locks to heroes. I don't really like lock-on abilities, but I guess we have to see how that works. Double shot. Twinblast fires his right gun, then follows up with his left one. The bullet from the right gun applies on hit effects and deals 75% of his normal basic damage. The bullet from the left gun does not apply on hit effects and deals 25% of his normal basic damage. So I think this makes him feel more like a gunslinger with both guns. So I think that's pretty cool. Grenade. Twinblast fires a grenade that explodes after bouncing or hitting an enemy, dealing ability damage, and applies a move speed slow for 1 second. The grenade have 3 charges. Okay, that's nice. I like that he has a slow. I think that's really interesting. They're definitely, like, being able to slow your targets, a Twinblast, throwing grenades out, dashing gives you an extra charge of a grenade, as it said here. So you can, like, throw a grenade, lay in a couple shots, dash forward, throw another grenade because it gives you an extra charge, slow them again. I think that's really nice. I like that. Ventilate now deals damage faster and has minor homing properties. So I guess this is because most people can't. Like, it's really difficult to aim, honestly. And I feel like there's like, you know, as you drag the gun, there's like a delay as the gun comes across. So I like the homing thing. Cards and gems. Death. Call the weak. No longer executes minions below 20% max health. Reworked. Increases minion execution thresholds by 50. See section describing updates to minions for further details. Okay. Lord Volstock. Reduced gold lost every 10 seconds from 100 to 85. I like that, Lord. I feel like when they moved it to 100, it's kind of ridiculous. Static Trap. Now also deals 50 ability damage. Chaos. Now probably Thorn Germy now properly reflects damage. Tireless Reaper fixed an issue. Blah blah blah. All movement speed slows and speed boosts have been converted from flat values to comparable percentages. Damaging aura now properly put the card owner in combat. Okay, I like that. I like this change. It's not a huge change, but I like this. Gems, spell shield no longer removed when okay, blah blah blah. That's great stuff. Okay, so we don't care about anything. Card changes pretty minimal. Reworks, I like them. I think they're really good. Basically 5 new heroes, right? And I can't wait to play them. I think I'm gonna play. I don't know. I don't even know who I want to play first. I think I want to play Gideon first though. Okay, so now this is talking more about overall in Monolith. It looks like it's mostly minions. So minions are being redesigned in a 2-step process. The first step arriving in the version 44 update will adjust minions' critical last hit threshold. When you damage a minion below roughly 20% health, that minion will be executed and you will be rewarded with a last hit. The second step is a full redesign of minion art, highlighting different states of damage before exposing a minion's weak center. The visual redesign will arrive in the version 44.3 update. Now that sounds pretty cool. Can't wait for that. Last hitting is not very clear in MOBAs and we want to make it better in Paragon. I disagree, but okay. These changes allow you to clearly understand when you can last hit with any hero and play less of the stand and wait game. Our goal is to let you focus on hero to hero combat as opposed to idly watching minions' health bars. I think that's still going to happen anyways. Unless like you get the game to auto last hit for you. Minions. Please don't do that, by the way, Epic. Minions are now executed when attacked with low health. A minion's health bar will turn red when a player's next basic attack will execute that minion. And I feel like this is just dumbing down the game. I really don't like this change. Like, one thing I pride myself on when I'm playing seriously is that I can farm a lot better than a lot of players. And I'm sure people do it way better than me, but they pride themselves on being that good at farming. When you make it this easy for everyone to last hit and farm, it's like, oh, please, come on. Where's the skill in this game? Only yesterday I was complaining about how this game is just dumbing itself down. This is another one of those steps to dumbing the game down. But anyways, I'm not going to judge until I play. Large white jungle minion increased health. Green buff minion increased max health. Structures, ability damage no longer deals damage to structures. I think that's good, but although they already took reduced damage from abilities. The core has been reworked, no longer fires an AoE blast. Okay, we saw this in the trailer. Objectives, okay, black buff. This is the offlane one. Added a new black jungle camp in the offlane jungle, which grants Hunter's Sight. Hunter's Sight, basic attack, slow movement speed of enemy heroes, melee by 20% and range by 15%. It also grants vision of enemy heroes in a large radius around you, does not reveal shadow plane units. Shares the same health and damage values as green buff. Okay, so I like this. I think it's really good because there's times as offlaner where I hit my power spike, say level 5. I could use this buff, grab it, stick to the enemy carry and take him out and then, you know, go do my thing. So I like this change a lot. I think it's really nice. Fangtooth. Raptor Camp has been replaced by Fangtooth. Killing Fangtooth grants the entire team a stack of Mark of Fangtooth, which provides buff based on how many stacks the team has. Now, I did say this. I thought when I saw the new HUD, there would be something like this. So I'm glad to see that I was right. And I'm sure a lot of you thought this as well. So on the first kill, you get plus 4 power, plus 1,000 gold. On the second kill, you get plus 4 power again, plus 10% out of combat movement speed. On the third kill, you get another 4 power, plus 15% non-hero damage. And on the fourth kill, you will get plus 8 power with each additional kill of Fangtooth. So when you get 5, you get another 8. When you get 6, you get another 8. It's pretty good. Attacks apply a burn which deal 3% of current health per second as ability damage. Fangtooth and Prime Guardian now have in-world point of interest icons to reveal whenever these objectives are alive. Visual and audio updates have been made to increase blah blah blah. Okay, I really like Fangtooth. I like this. I want to see more objective based actions in the game, right? I don't want to just see, oh, well, we're grouped for tower, group is 5, push this lane, and that's it, right? I like that there's another objective that isn't a tower in this game and is not all prime, because I feel like all prime is kind of too game ending and towers are always there in MOBAs. But I like this. So this is kind of like the League approach. I don't really know too much about League, but I played 1 or 2 games. I feel like this is kind of what happens in League from what I saw, but I don't know. You guys probably know better than I do. Updated names and descriptions for all carried buffs. Hunter's Sight is the black buff. Grants vision of nearby enemies. We were talking about Shield of Zekin. Green buff, we already know what that does. Amplification Orb is the red buff. Echo Orb is the orange buff, Swiftness Orb is the blue buff, and Shadow Orb is the purple buff. All buffs receive polished work and updated visuals, blah blah blah. Okay, greatly reduce the health regen of camps which are no longer in combat. This includes Fangtooth and Prime. The result is that camps will no longer heal to full shortly after leeching back to their original location, but will still retain invulnerability during the retreat period and when damaged without a hero in their combat radius. Okay. This is the UI, and I don't really want to go into all these changes on the UI because like that's kind of boring for me. But if you want to check it out, definitely check it out. Okay, so movement slows no longer stack with each other. Finally, Jesus Christ, I fucking hate the Iggy's running. What was it? Plague Lord and the other card, Stagnant Dominion or whatever. So annoying. So movement slows no longer stack with each other. Only the greatest magnitude slow will be applied to a hero. Example, 10% slow for 1 second, 20% slow for 3 seconds. For 1 second, the hero will be slowed by 50%. When that slow expires, the hero will remain slowed by 20% for another 2 seconds. So what would have been originally would have been 70% and then 20 for the last 2. But now it's 50 and then 20 because the 20% slow is still going on for 2 seconds. Slows for backpedaling, strafing, and attacking also follow the rules. If a hero is slowed by 20% while backpedaling and a 10% slow is applied, they'll continue to be affected by only the backpedal penalty unless they begin moving forward. Okay, I like that. This change is not applied to movement speed boost. They'll continue to stack additively. All movement speed slows and speed boosts have been converted from flat values to comparable percentages. And the rest is just in-game store content, which I don't give 2 shits about. Tutorial, I don't care. Loot crate, I don't really care. Okay, so it was a pretty short patch, with regards to the patch notes at least. But I don't know. I think this is going to be a fun patch for me. I really like the direction in the jungle. I like the fact that they've added this Fangtooth buff. I like there's another black buff. I like the reworks. The HUD I really like because I now know what's going on. I think I'm going to have a lot more fun playing Paragon. And a lot of you asked me to give my opinion at the end whether I think this is a good patch or not. And I think this is a good patch. I will admit I was getting kind of bored on Paragon. And the only downside to this patch is that it actually doesn't come out on Tuesday. It comes out on Wednesday. Which is, it kind of sucks. But I'm looking forward to it. I hope you guys are as well. Let me know in the comment section below which hero you want me to cover first of the 5 that are getting reworked. And, you know, when they introduce reworked heroes, it also kind of affects all the other heroes. So it feels a lot more fresh, even if I play the same hero. So it's a really good change for me, in my opinion. Smash that thumbs up button if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe for all the latest Paragon content. And until next time, guys, peace.